What's up, y'all? You're listening to the My Nation podcast. I'm Alex Miller, joined always by Robert Cessna Cease. Here we go. It's getting a little more real for the Aggies this week as they head on the road to face number 9 Notre Dame. They number 9? 8. Oh,
close enough.
Numbers are hard.
They're 8 in both of them, actually.
The fact of the matter is, A&M is playing a top 10 opponent on the road. A&M has not won a road game over a ranked opponent since beating number 3 Auburn in 2014. On the road. Keyword on the road. True road game, too. I noted that in my column because they beat Arizona State. They beat Arkansas at the neutral sites.
As long as you say road, everyone knows because you got road, neutral, and home. I would say 99% of fans know that.
How big of a game is this for A&M?
Well, there's two ways to look at it because people are going to say, well, they're going to go to Texas, they're going to go to LSU, they're going to go to Missouri, they're going to have a lot of road games. That's true, but because of their history, until they get that off them, and Elko touched on this yesterday, there for a while they'd lost 10 straight games against anyone. Half of them were unranked until they beat Florida. They got that monkey off their back, but now they got this monkey off their back. And if you beat Notre Dame, they haven't beaten a road team on the road in non-conference since 1979 when they did it at Penn State. I was at that game, by the way, too. So, but, it's like you got to cross those things off. And the sooner you do it, because you can say, oh, yeah, he's got this game. They'll win at LSU or they'll win at Texas or they'll win at Missouri. Not so fast, my friend. You don't know.
How old were you in 1979?
27.
Hey, I'm 27. How about that?
And actually, I wasn't covering A&M full time back then. I was doing like I did back. But since it was Penn State,
they let you go home.
I went home. So and Curtis Dickey ran wild. That was Tom Wilson, and I do remember that game.
Well, it seems like the recipe for success is pretty straightforward for A&M this week. Number one on defense, got to slow down the running game. A&M knows what they're up against with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. And second, they need to make C.J. Carr pretty flustered in the pocket as a young quarterback that he had up and down moments against Miami, and now he's had a week to learn from some of those mistakes.
Yeah, they're not going to fluster him if they don't stop the run game. And I think that's a huge concern. I think probably Elko, if he admitted he's concerned about that because they've given up some runs to two really bad teams. And now you go on the road. You think about some stupid penalties A&M's had, and they've done that at home. Now go on the road at night. Big challenge, but as was the case last year, win or lose, I'll be like a coach. A&M learned a lot about themselves last year at Notre Dame, and they were better after. They'll be better after this game. The question is, will they win or lose?
On offense, it seems pretty straightforward, too. A&M's just, they got to get something going because we know Notre Dame's got a solid defense. We know that they've got a veteran secondary with 2 really good cornerbacks. A&M has shown some really good stuff on offense so far this season, but Marcel's got to be good, and he's got to take care of the ball. And KC and Craver got to step up for A&M and make some plays downfield.
Well, I'm looking forward for this game to test A&M. A&M's had a few lulls in offense the first 2 games, but it didn't matter. They were so much superior to UTSA and Utah State. What's going to happen up in Notre Dame, they're going to fall behind the chains, and they didn't really fall behind the chains in any game that mattered, so to speak. They're going to probably do it consistently because I hate to say it, but if you think about the Ohio State and Texas game. Everybody thought that might be a high-scoring game. It was 14-7 because the defenses played so well. I expect Notre Dame defense to play well. A&M defense better play well. My point being is you're going to have those 2nd and 9s, 2nd and 12s. What do you do? 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 is a tough deal. And that works both ways because Notre Dame played well against Miami, but how good's Miami?
How good is Miami is a great question. And, hey, they got to play South Florida this week, who's on a heater. Jessica's Gators a little limping this week.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit of Billy Napier yesterday. Hey, he's under the gun, and he knows it. His players know it. The program knows it. It's no way to be. A&M's had that here. They've been through it. Jimbo's last year. No one wins in that situation right now. But we're digressing, but Florida has such a tough schedule. They win 2 games, he's off the hot seat, and they're carrying him off on his shoulders. I don't think that'll happen, but A&M's in the same situation. You beat Notre Dame, you go into that open week, whoa, A&M may be a top 11, top 10 team. Well, that's what's at stake.
Yeah, you look at what a win would do for the Aggies. Look, if they lose the game, they can obviously recover and still be in the college football playoff conversation down the road. They were in the mix last year after losing to Notre Dame, won 7 straight games. But winning changes the perception of A&M as a contender, and it gets them over that hump we talked about, winning a big game on the road. And then you get a week off to get healthy and reset, and then you get 3 straight home games to start conference play, which is a huge advantage in some ways to start building momentum as the season progresses.
Yeah, that's why the game's so big. You look at all the reasons, and the main one is because A&M would lose. They go, well, A&M can do what they did last year, but they lost that game. If A&M wins this game, it's new territory, really is, because once again, it's a new coach, and Sumlin had those moments, and then he would crater. Well, Elko is all brand new. If he beats Notre Dame, oh my gosh, suddenly, everybody's on the bandwagon, floodgates, and then how do you handle that? But A&M will gladly see how that works if they beat Notre Dame.
Well, we're recording this on a Tuesday, so you probably haven't gotten to dive into Notre Dame and do your matchups and breakdowns as much as you would have had we done this on Wednesday like we normally do. I'm headed up to DFW later this afternoon to cover A&M volleyball these next 2 days. But something I think will be interesting to watch, A&M has had some really high highs, but they've also had a few lows in the special teams game. And when you've got a game like this that is going to be as tight as it might be, special teams is going to play a huge role in this, where A&M might have some advantages if they can clean up some of the sloppiness that they showed last week against Utah State.
Without a doubt. And special teams on the road, you touched on it. You can't have a 15-yard punt. You talk about doing different things or whatever. You can't miss an extra point. Suddenly you lose 14-13, and that comes back to bite you in the butt. And that works both ways. And special teams on the road, first time getting the gunners down, all this. Suddenly you make one mistake, and you're in trouble. But that's the beauty of going on the road. And they're going on the road. They're not going on the road, I don't be ugly, to play Arkansas or Vanderbilt. No, they're playing Notre Dame. They're playing a team that was in the college football playoff that returns like 11 starters.
They were in the national championship. They almost won the national championship last year.
11 starters back. So that, they have 4 or 5 star recruits at every position.
Well, and not to mention on the other side of the coin, this is a huge game for Notre Dame since they lost the opener to Miami. Their schedule's not stacking up the way it did last year. They need a good feather in their cap right now so that when November rolls around, their playoff resume is legitimate so that they can be back in that conversation.
No ranked teams left right now on their schedule. So you lose to A&M 0-2, they drop down maybe 15, 16, and then they have no resume to build on, so to speak. They have to have a lot of people lose in front of them, and they have to have people lose behind them, because suddenly somebody wins and they're 6-0, and they go, "You want 6-0 or 4-2?" I'll take the 6-0.
Well, and they'd need someone to spring up on their schedule and have a good season so that they could get a marquee win. Which
might not happen because it'd have to be Southern Cal. Boise State's already lost the game. Army, Navy, not what they used to be. So some teams that they relied on. That's why you're getting Notre Dame's best shot, because they have to win this game.
Well, Cease, what's the number one thing A&M's got to do if they're going to come away with the win this week?
Protect the ball. Notre Dame lost to Miami on the road because they had 2 turnovers, and Miami didn't. That was the bottom line. And when you go on the road in a big game, you've got to protect. And it sounds like a coach, but for the first time, you can't give up. You can't give up a penalty. You can't give up a fumble. You can't come out on your second series at your own 30 and fumble the ball, or 40. It's going to cost you points.
Well, and not to mention, this is kind of a bucket list venue for a lot of people to go to. You've been to a lot of really cool stadiums over the years, but you've never been to Notre Dame. What are you looking forward to getting to go and experience that town and that atmosphere?
Well, it's a little bit like Mario Craver. We talked to him today. He's looking forward to it. He said that would be on his bucket list. I like Mike Elko's answer yesterday, and the fact is, and I've heard this from other people, you're not going to be overwhelmed by the stadium or whatever, but when you walk in, you're at Notre Dame, all that tradition, whatever. I was very underwhelmed walking into the Rose Bowl. I heard all this thing, and I walked in, I go, this is a dump.
It was.
But it's the Rose Bowl. So you have all that.
You see the mountains in the back.
And so Notre Dame's the same way. They get an advantage. Kyle Field is, I can guarantee, a way better experience. Alabama, all of them. But Notre Dame has that leprechaun on the side. They have all that stuff. They have all that tradition. They have all those Heisman trophies. And you kind of feel that when you walk in, if you're a fan, opponent, whatever, you go, oh, this is Notre Dame. And you got to deal with the mystique.
That's how I felt when we've been to Bryant-Denny Stadium. Is you walk up and they've got all the things on the ground for all their championship teams. They got all the statues of the championship coaches. You feel the pedigree that's there at Alabama. So I'm really looking forward to getting to go to such an iconic place like Notre Dame. You're a Rudy fan?
Not really. I mean, I'm not.
Was he offsides?
Yeah, I'm not into all that stuff. I mean, I don't even know if I've seen the movie the whole time. I'm just that's just not me, and so whatever. Yeah, that's not me.
Well, maybe we'll watch it on the plane. I will, maybe at least.
There, you'll get fired up. Get that lead ready. There you go, man.
Cease will be working on his computer because he actually does work.
I'll be sleeping.
He'll be sleeping. All right. Hey, we'll be in South Bend this weekend covering the Aggies and Irish. Be sure to check all of our coverage at theeagle.com. No travel delays, hopefully. Please. That'd be awesome. Anyway, we'll see you next week on the My Aggie Nation podcast.